What's up, you guys? Jalen Hawk here, as always, bringing weekly anime manga reviews, and I'm here with another video. So, I know Dressrosa did cover this topic, but like I said on my live stream earlier this week, I think Monday or last Sunday, sometime in the last week, I did say I was planning on doing this, so yeah. But I will link Dressrosa's video in the comment section down below because I think his outcome might be different from mine. I didn't watch the entirety of his video. I'm probably gonna do that after, probably while I'm editing this. But yeah. So Arima versus Furuta. Who is truly superior? This is actually a topic that I've seen debated a lot within the Tokyo Ghoul Reddit, within my server, and even in the comic section of some of my videos. Mainly the video that I made talking about the strongest characters in Tokyo Ghoul, when I put Furuta over Arima. And I kind of gave a brief description why I think Furuta is superior, but I have seen some people say oh yeah, you should do this as an actual versus battle, as well as Yomo versus Uta, who is really stronger than who. So that might be the next video I'll do, but I'm not really sure. I haven't really decided yet. Now, the best way to scale both of these characters, unfortunately, due to the fact that both of these characters don't really get a serious fight until they both fight Kaneki, that's probably the best way we're going to have to scale them, similar to the same way how some people scale other characters from different series. Now, one thing that I have stated in my previous versus battles and on my old channel is that since Tokyo Ghoul is such a technical show or a series, it's very hard to scale. It's not like on the lines of something like Dragon Ball, where it's just like whoever has the best feat wins. It's very technical, and there are scenarios where I do feel like certain characters could beat each other, depending on what exactly goes down. And I'll go through some of those scenarios in this video. So, like I said before, the main thing that we're going to be looking at is how they both fared against Kaneki, and I guess kind of knock out some of the misconceptions that have been made in the fandom when it comes to in regards of both of these characters. So let's hop right into this video right now. So one thing I do want to say right here and right now is Furuta fought a stronger version of Kaneki. I feel like a lot of people tend to not realize that, but the version of Kaneki that we actually see fight Arima is superior to the one that we actually get to see a small snippet of, god damn it, Ishida, a small snippet actually fighting up against Suzuya and Abra or Hanbei, whatever the hell his name is, later on in the 24th Ward arc. This version of Kaneki is the one that comes out of Dragon. It's way stronger than any other version of Kaneki that we've seen before. He is no longer dying because of his age. He is also no longer, he's also not going to end up dying because he's not eating. And you even have where he did get a boost of power due to the fact that he cannibalized both ghouls and humans, as well as the Ogai squad. So yeah, this version of Kaneki is superior to the one that we actually see that is somewhat suppressed when he is fighting Arima back during the Koklia arc, or the Ghoul prison, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that is one thing that I do want to bring up. Now, another thing that I feel like we also need to consider when talking about this battle is some statements that have been made about Furuta, as well as me kind of debunking some things that people say about Furuta, based off of some statements that were said about him in his final fight with Kaneki. So, I've seen a lot of people throw around that Furuta is superior to Arima due to the fact that Arima flat out says that Furuta has very good form when he is a child. This is simply not true, because all Arima says is that Furuta has good form. He doesn't say that Furuta has better form than me. He doesn't say anything else besides that. All it is just Arima simply complimenting Furuta. And you even have where Kaiko as well as Tsuneyoshi both say statements that Furuta is going to be the pride and joy of the Washu clan, as well as he at some point he might end up making a very good Baru chief. Now, due to the fact that both Arima and Furuta are both born from Tsuneyoshi Washu, it's expected of them to both be very powerful. I mean, Tsuneyoshi Washu was stated that in his youth, he was capable of defeating triple S-rated ghouls, and we even see characters like Furuta, where he's able to do that in the case with Eto, as well as Arima being able to do the same thing when he defeated both Eto. Kind of had Kaneki on the ropes, though. Kaneki at that point, debatable if he was of the Triple S tiering. That's kind of up for you to decide. And as well as him defeating Triple S rated Sachi. Okay, that's a joke. Sachi's not actually Triple S. The anime messed up on that. But besides that, Arima and Furuta are both strong. Now, one thing I do want to say about Furuta that was stated by Kaneki is that Furuta, according to Kaneki, is stronger than him, as well as being smarter than him, more diligent, as well as more creative and sly. He's pretty much hyping up Furuta to be a better version of himself. Now, one thing I do want to bring up, though, when it comes to that, is this isn't just simply Kaneki showcasing himself to kind of like downplaying himself, similar to like what Naruto did back during the 5 Kage Summit arc, where like he's like, oh, I can't beat Sasuke right now. If I beat him, both of us are gonna die, even though Sasuke at that point in time was like half freaking blind. Like, no, it's not like that. Kaneki actually was inferior to Furuta during that scene. You see that throughout the entirety of chapter 173, when Kaneki and Furuta are fighting. Kaneki's kind of just getting his ass whooped the entire time. Furuta's a better swordsman than him. He's better at manipulating his Kagune. He's better than using his Quinke and his Kagune at the same exact time. And even his regeneration is, I wouldn't say superior to Kaneki. I would probably give that still to Kaneki, if not Furuta's on par. But in many cases, Furuta does showcase in that fight that he is better than Kaneki. And the only reason why a lot of the blows that Kaneki even got on Furuta landed was simply due to the fact of Furuta just trying to egg Kaneki on throughout the entire fight. And that is one thing that could be, expended upon by Arima if him and Furuta did end up fighting. Arima is very calm. He's very tactical when he does fight. And when you look at when Furuta and Kaneki are fighting, there are scenes when Kaneki isn't able to get a blow on Furuta, and Furuta's just like, come on, just like effing hit me. This entire time I've been waiting to actually have a good sword fight with someone. Come on and do it right now. And then, Furuta gets hit across the face by Kaneki, and then Furuta proceeds to beat down Kaneki with his Kagune. Furuta is very strong. Now, another thing that we have been shown with Furuta is that he's able to kind of single-handedly seemingly one-shot Eto. Now, obviously, we do know that this wasn't a flat-out one-shot, because if you look at the way how Eto looks when she's cut out from her Kakuja, in comparison to the way how Furuta looks when he first does the attack, you can clearly tell that Eto did do some type of damage later on in the fight when we cut back to it, because you look at Eto's body, she's missing a leg at this point, and you even have where her body looks like it's been beaten down quite a bit. And then if you look at Furuta has, scratches and scuffs on him. Not anything super major and fatal, but he does look somewhat, damaged. Like he did just get into a heavy fight with Eto, and it's very obvious that Eto did hit him at some point. So you can't really scale too well off of that, because the only fights that we've seen Furuta in, like I said before, is in his fight with Eto, his small scuffle with Kaneki where he's kind of trolling the entire time, as well as, his final fight with Kaneki. Now, another thing that I do want to bring up in this fight, for people wondering, like, what Arima would have, Arima, at this point in time, I would just give him every single Quinke that he showcased up into the series. You can give him Yukimura. Or actually, no, we're not going to give him Yukimura, because Arima, by the time he's an adult, you don't see him using Yukimura. So just give him pretty much the same Quinkes that he had by the time of his fight with Kaneki. And you can even add in Exia as well. So you can give him Exia as a shield. You can give him the Owl Quinke, as well as you can give him Narukami. So, yeah. Now, one thing I do want to bring up that Arima did not showcase in his fight with Kaneki is the full capabilities of the Owl Quinke. Now, one thing that was stated in the fight by both Kaneki and Arima is that both of them were holding back. They were just doing damage to each other. Well, actually, Arima, I don't even think took any damage in that fight. It was mainly Kaneki. But if you look at the Owl Quinke, when we see Kaiko use it, which obviously it is possible that this version that Kaiko was indeed using was a stronger, more enhanced version by V, though I have my doubts due to the fact that the Owl Quinke kind of looks the exact same as the one that, Arima used. So that means that this version of the Owl Quinke is capable of utilizing projectiles, which we saw when Kaiko was fighting several different members of CCG as well as the Ghouls. Because, mind you, I feel like a lot of people kind of downplay Kaiko, when in reality, Kaiko is one of the strongest characters in the entirety of the story. I mean, in his fight, when he's utilizing Owl, he takes on the entirety of the Quink squad at the same time, and he kind of one-shots all of them, though this could just be due to plot. He's taking on Hiroko, he's taking on Takeyomi. I'm not sure, I don't think Suzuya or Ui were there. I think they were in the vicinity, but I don't remember if they encountered Kaiko as well. Not that it would really matter too much, because I believe Suzuya at that point in time was injured. No. Take that back. Suzuya did block an attack from the Owl Quinque, and then his R to armor for the first time did crack. That was the only time we ever saw the freaking R to armor actually take damage, that version of it. And you even have where Yomo and Nishio and Tsukiyama were trying to take on the Owl Quinque as well at the same exact time. And Kaiko kind of, destroys all of them up until the point when, Eto woke up, and you can assume that it took both Eto and Hiroko to take out Kaiko. So, yeah, that is one thing that I want to bring up. Now, another thing that I do want people to kind of realize as well, that is a misconception about Arima, is him, quote-unquote, becoming weaker as he aged. Now, there isn't any statements that I've seen in the manga, whether it's the official release or the scans online, that state that Arima, as he was getting older, was becoming weaker. The only thing that was stated is that his lifespan was indeed shortening, according to himself, as well as him going blind in one part of his eye. Now, we don't know when exactly this was happening, but you can assume due to the fact that Arima was becoming older, and he was losing his vision, he was starting to adapt to that. And I'd imagine that I find it very hard to believe that the Arima the one that takes on Eto, which is around the same time as Tokyo Ghoul Jack, mind you, not that long after, I think it's like, I want to say it's like maybe 2 years after, is vastly weaker, or I mean, is vastly stronger than the Arima that we see fight Kaneki. So I really find that hard to believe. I mean, at this point in time, no one seems to really see that Arima is weaker. Any of the investigators that are, watching him at that point in time, and no one in V brings that up either, and neither does Eto. All they bring up is the fact that Arima's blind, so you can assume, if anything, Arima got stronger during that time. Though, I do feel like that if Kaneki is capable of figuring out the weakness that, Arima is blind on one side of his face, I'm pretty sure that Furuta can do the same thing. Now, one thing I do want to bring up, like I said before, during that fight, Arima was not using the full capabilities of the Owl Quinque, so it is possible, since Owl is the strongest, Quinque that we've seen in the story, and if it's able to take on that many double S-rated ghouls at once, I'm pretty sure that it can probably hurt someone like Kaneki or Furuta if they are indeed off guard. But one thing I do want to bring up and consider is Furuta fought the actual Owl and indeed won, and came out with very minimal injuries. None of them seemed to be fatal. He wasn't missing limbs or anything like that. So it is very well possible that Furuta could probably break the Owl Quinque, even if it is going full on out. So yeah, that is one thing that I feel like a lot of people need to consider. Now, I'm not trying to sound like I'm just kind of beating down on Arima, because I'm not. Arima is very strong. It's just that I kind of feel like in some regards Furuta is indeed better. Now, one way that I can definitely see how Arima could get the edge on Furuta, and this is indeed one of the main reasons why Furuta lost to Kaneki in the first place, is you see as the fight is continuing, as Kaneki kind of gets more and more into Furuta's head, Furuta kind of starts to lose sight of himself and kind of goes ballistic and crazy. Now, you do see that Furuta, the moment he goes into his Kakuja, is able to kind of throw Kaneki around a bit. Kaneki, seemingly the fight is on par at first, until, Kaneki tries to block. Furuta still grabs Kaneki and starts beating him down. You see Kaneki coughing up blood, and in that final moment, Furuta looks shocked. He sees Kaneki coming in to deliver the finishing blow. He thinks about Rize, and then he's hit. So Kaneki did get the edge before Furuta lost sight of himself completely, I guess, and was off task. And it's not like Furuta was off task and Kaneki took the finishing blow. It's just that Kaneki in that situation was superior to him and was able to deal with the overall onslaught that Furuta was kind of dealing with it, or that was Furuta was letting go on him. And to be honest, Arima is only a demi-human, all right? Even though he does have enhanced strength, enhanced speed, enhanced durability, all that stuff, I find it very hard to believe that if Furuta did the same onslaught that can cause someone like Kaneki to cough up blood and look injured at the end of his fight, not fatal, obviously, but he was covered in blood, he was bleeding. I don't think Arima would be able to like get up and walk properly after that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say like that would kill Arima, because I kind of feel reluctant to say that it would, but I do feel like it would leave Arima injured enough where either he would have to use the Owl Quinque to kind of finish off Furuta if Furuta did like okay, let me backtrack. I'm kind of like saying too much stuff really quick. If Furuta did lose sight of himself and Arima happened to survive the attack, it is possible that maybe Arima would be able to finish Furuta off in that moment with the Owl Quinque. But due to the fact that Arima is still human from a physiological standpoint, I doubt that Arima would even have enough strength to like attack Furuta if Furuta's just relentlessly. I can't say that word for some reason. If Furuta is like keeps on hitting Arima consecutively, Arima is going to be able to last the same way how Kaneki can, where Kaneki has really advanced regeneration and is capable of healing over and over again. I mean, he came out of Dragon. You also have where he has Rize's Kakaho. He's able to like come back from something like that. You know, some attacks that humans are not able to. Arima, I don't think, can do the same thing. Now, obviously, we've seen half humans are capable of doing some pretty crazy stuff. For example, we see that Haru is able to survive for a little bit after getting her stomach pierced by a Kagune. So it's very well possible, and I would actually say very likely, that if something like that happened to Arima, he would still be able to get up. But all Haru was really able to do in that situation is stay in the same spot that she was in, kind of hold her stomach in pain, start screaming, and then release her T-Human. Which, if you're watching the anime, T-Human is like a freaking ki blast. And if you're watching the anime, or if you're reading the manga, it's like a thunderbolt, very similar to Narukami, almost the same exact thing. If not, I'd probably say a Narukami might be slightly stronger, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So it's possible that Arima would be able to do the same thing, but due to the fact that Arima being a lot stronger than Haru, it is possible that he would be able to move a bit, but definitely not to the same degree that he would be able to before. And like I said, if Furuta's in his Kakuja, what is Arima going to really even be able to do to keep up with someone as fast as Furuta, who has been shown to be able to outspeed Kaneki? So yeah, now there are things that you know Arima could do that could harm Furuta, like using Narukami to stun him. But I mean, we've seen characters get hit by Narukami or even deflect Narukami with their own Kagune, like Yoma was able to do something like that. And Narukami, one thing that I do want people to realize, is a double S, or not a double S, I think it's only a single S rated Quinque, just S rate or S plus. Yomo's is probably double S, like if he actually had an accurate rating, so that's probably why he was able to cancel it. But Furuta is one of the strongest ghouls in the series. He's able to be a triple S rated ghoul. I'm pretty sure that his Kagune would be able to cancel out Narukami. Especially if something like, you know, Matsume putting up her shield is able to kind of like cancel out T-Human for a little bit. And I doubt that T-Human is extremely inferior to Narukami. Now, some people could bring up Exia. Now, one thing about Exia that I do want people to kind of realize is Kaneki was able to crack Exia in part 1, and I think that might have been him in Centipede, which is when he got his double S rating. But Furuta's definitely above Centipede Kaneki, so it's just like I know that it sounds like I'm downplaying Arima, but what could Arima really do? Furuta has had the same exact training as Arima. He was a half human, just like how Arima was for a period of time, and then he got Rize's Kakaho, which we all know how broken Rize's freaking Kakaho makes people in the story. He's just like, Furuta's kind of like a better version of Arima. Kind of the same way how, you know, Kaneki is a better, or I mean, Furuta's a better version of Kaneki. Like, I mean, if all three of these characters have the same, I guess, fighting style to a degree, I'm pretty sure that Furuta is superior to Arima. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Furuta would always beat Arima, because like I said before, if Furuta's being cocky and he's not being analytical the same way how Arima is, where Arima keeps his calm, cool perspective, it is possible that because of Furuta getting enraged if Arima got into his head, that could give him the edge. But in most scenarios, I would say for sure that Furuta would probably be able to outsmart Arima. He's probably be able to expose the same weaknesses that Kaneki was able to figure out, especially since he is smarter than him, and he would probably defeat him. Now, even if like Arima, for example, like broke Furuta's Quinke, which is possible, Furuta still has his Kagune, and from the point when he's using his Kakuja, he's not even using his Quinke anymore. He kind of like abandons it. So yeah, I think Furuta would win in the versus battle. Like I would, like if I had to give like, I guess a comparison, I'd probably say like 6 out of 10 times Furuta would probably win. I do feel like every single fight would probably be hard fought. It would be like high diff, but I would say that Furuta would come out the victor more times than Arima would. So yeah, now in a hypothetical battle, if Arima was not going blind in one of his eyes, I do feel like it would be a lot more even. And I would even say in some scenarios, Arima would probably win more than Furuta would. But that's the only scenario I would really see Arima like kind of being superior to Furuta. And it's just like in the fact that if he's not blind. Now, like I said before, Arima could also get injuries that Furuta would be able to heal from, which would also be a really big problem, because if you look at Kaneki's fight with Furuta, Kaneki got stabbed through the mouth, though that was more Kaneki biting down on the blade so he wouldn't get a fatal injury. You even have where Furuta, because of Kaneki being off guard, slit his throat and his side. Those would both be fatal injuries for like a human-esque character like Arima. But yeah. So anyways, like I said before, I think Furuta would win, and I don't really want to drag this video any more than I really should. And if you guys want more versus battles down below, just comment down below what you would like to see. Now, the ones that I was kind of thinking about doing is is Yomo versus Uta, like who would actually win that fight if they did go. Well, actually no, I'm not even gonna waste my time with that one, because we already know that Yomo would win, so there's kind of no point in that. I've seen a lot of people ask me what are my thoughts about Amon versus Suzuya, so if you guys are interested in that, I might do that one. Or maybe Toka versus Hinami would be an interesting one that you guys might want to see. So yeah, those are kind of like the ones I'm thinking about. But if you guys have any more options that you guys would like them to see me do, I'll do it next week, next weekend. I'll try to do that. So maybe save like versus battles for Saturdays from now on for you guys. So anyways, thank you for watching. Remember, comment, subscribe as always, guys. I love you all. Jalen Hawk signing out.